Alright, so this is a 3-minute crash course on the new tax act for small business. So we're going to go through this section by section and cut it so that everyone can easily follow this video. So first, who is a small business? So a small business is any business engaging in economic activity for the realization of profits and is doing less than 100 million naira in revenue or sales. If that's you, then you're a small business. The first is company income tax, CIT. So for small businesses, any business doing less than 100 million naira in sales, you are not meant to pay company income tax. So it's 0% for small business. So if you're doing less than 100 million naira in sales and you're a business, 0% income tax for you. VAT. As a small business, you're not meant to charge VAT. So you're not meant to charge your customers VAT. You're not meant to pay VAT to the government either. So VAT is also 0% for you. This can make your business more competitive. Payee. Pay as you earn. So payee is essentially the amount of money you take out of your employee's salary each month, then remit to the government. So it's their taxes to the government that you're taking out of their salary every month, depending on if you're paying them enough money to be within a taxable tax bracket, you're meant to pay that money to the government every month. This is mandatory. It doesn't matter the size of your business. It doesn't matter how much you're doing in sales. You must pay payee. So what does filing mean for a small business? Filing is essentially reporting your income and your expenses to the government at the end of each year or at the end of each reporting period, depending on the kind of tax you're paying. You must tell the government, okay, this is what has happened within this particular period. See, this was happened. That's what filing means. Now, you must not necessarily pay tax to file tax. You must still file. File is just reporting, saying, hey, this is what I have done within this particular period of time, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to pay tax, but you still have to file. What are the two most common mistakes that we see small businesses make? The first is you're not tracking your expenses properly. You're not keeping proper records of accounts. You're just mixing everything everywhere. In this new regime, this new tax regime, you're going to have to track your expenses very properly. The second is mixing your personal business with your company business. Separate your accounts so that it's very clear what is business money, what is your personal money. And a bonus tip or bonus mistake we see people make is also charging VAT when you're not meant to charge VAT. Again, VAT is exempt for small businesses. How do you stay compliant without stress as a small business? The first thing is just to know which taxes you're meant to pay. So not all taxes apply to you. Know the different taxes that apply to you as a small business and file and pay those taxes if you have tax liability to pay for the government. The second is basically keeping basic records of accounts. Keep records of your income, keep records of your expenses. Let it be clear. Don't mix your accounts. That would really help you. The third is to file on time. So filing is something that there's a particular period you're meant to file, a particular date. For VAT is 21st of each month. For CIT, currently is June 21st. So file your taxes on time to avoid penalties, unnecessary penalties. A penalty is basically them saying, oh, you don't commit foul, now you will pay with this. So do that. So when do you use a tax professional as a small business? My advice to small businesses are, if you're looking for a tax professional, do it in two scenarios. First is you have payroll or you have payroll or VAT. That's like, let's say your VAT for some reason is very difficult to compute and it's stressing you out. You can get a tax consultant. If you have like maybe 10 employees that you're paying and you need to be paying payroll to different states, because how it works is you need to be paying payee tax all the different states your employees are in. If you have employees that work remotely and in different states, you need to file to all those different states, which just becomes very painful over time. The third reason for you to get a tax consultant is basically if your revenue is increasing, and then your transactions just become more complex, then you can get a tax consultant. But if you're very, very small, a small business owner, maybe you're doing 1 million naira, you're doing 1 million naira a year, 2 million naira a year, you may not need a tax consultant because you may not have a lot of complexity. But if you're seeing that your complexity is increasing as a small business owner, to remove the overhead and bottleneck from you, just get a tax consultant. And if you're looking for a tax consultant as a small business, we are here for you at Tax Oga. Reach out to us and we can help you manage all these administrative bottlenecks and overhead. Thank you. Bye for now.